The 2026 FIFA World Cup final, Spain versus Argentina, a clash of titans that ended with Spain securing their first men's World Cup title in more than a decade. The confetti rained down, the tears flowed, and a nation celebrated. But as the Spanish national team lifted that solid gold trophy in North America, a different kind of victory was being calculated behind closed doors. Spain won the glory, they won the title, and they won a guaranteed $50 million prize from FIFA. But before that money could even cross the Atlantic Ocean to Madrid, someone else stepped in to take their cut. Welcome to InEssence. To understand the sheer magnitude of what happened in 2026, you first have to understand how FIFA usually operates. For decades, FIFA hasn't just acted like a sports organization, they have acted like a sovereign, untouchable empire. When FIFA selects a host country for the World Cup, they don't just ask for stadiums and hotels, they demand complete financial submission. Look at the history. Since 2010, when Spain last hoisted the trophy in South Africa, every single host nation has bowed to FIFA's demands. South Africa, Brazil, Russia, and Qatar all passed special laws granting total tax relief for FIFA and its teams. No corporate taxes, no income taxes on prize money. The host nations paid the billions in infrastructure costs, while FIFA and the winning federations kept the pure, untaxed profit. That was the established rule of the game. Until 2026. When the World Cup came to the United States, FIFA met an entity that simply does not bow to anyone, the Internal Revenue Service, or the IRS. The U.S. refused to grant the blanket tax exemptions that FIFA was so used to. They looked at the $50 million prize pool, and they treated it just like any other business transaction on American soil. Under United States tax law, there is a very strict rule targeting non-resident foreign athletes. It's colloquially known as the Jock Tax. It operates under the principle of U.S.-sourced income. If you are an artist, an actor, or a footballer performing services inside the United States, you are subject to federal income tax on the money you earn for those services. It doesn't matter if you are playing for FC Barcelona or a local club in Madrid. According to the IRS playbook, any payment made to non-resident foreign athletes is generally subject to a brutal 30% federal withholding tax. That means before the Spanish Federation even touches the check, 30% is instantly withheld by the U.S. government. But it doesn't stop at the federal level. Andrew Wilford, the director of state policy at the National Taxpayers Union Foundation, ran the numbers. Because games were played in various states, each with their own local tax laws, he calculated that the Spanish national team would be subject to an average all-in tax rate of 31.66%, with their base camp alone having a 30% minimum rate. Out of their $50 million prize, nearly $16 million was legally seized by the American government. This wasn't a clerical error. This was a calculated extraction of foreign wealth, legally executed in broad daylight. Because the 2026 World Cup was hosted across 3 countries, the bureaucracy reached unprecedented levels. The IRS didn't act alone. They formed a joint agreement with the Canada Revenue Agency and Mexico's SAT. They created a task force to find a method for allocating FIFA's compensation. The consensus? The tax withholding would be strictly calculated based on the exact number of matches played in each host country. Every single minute a Spanish player ran on an American pitch, the IRS meter was ticking. And back home in Europe, the financial pressure only worsened. According to a report by RCM Legal, 17 of the 26 Spanish national players are tax residents in Spain. Under Spanish law, they are taxed on their worldwide income. Players like Lamine Yamal are now caught in a financial crossfire between Washington and Madrid. You would think the United States government would be universally proud of this massive influx of tax revenue. But the reality is exactly the opposite. The IRS policy sparked widespread debate and outrage from their own lawmakers. Listen to Representative Tim Burchett. On national television, he explicitly stated, "I think it's a ripoff." He argued that this aggressive taxation sends the completely wrong message to the world. "We want to encourage these people to come over here and spend their money," he said, "and then we take a big chunk of it. We've got to get a better tax system." Representative Jonathan Jackson echoed the sentiment, simply stating it's wrong, and that kind of highlights something bigger. When American politicians are publicly calling their own tax collection on foreign athletes a ripoff, you begin to realize how aggressive the 30% withholding rule truly is. So, is there any way for Spain to rescue their millions? Technically, yes. The United States and Spain have a bilateral tax treaty to prevent double taxation. As Richard Konigsberg from Eisner-Amper explained, the U.S. is not taking a double dip here. If you have a Spanish resident that earned income in the U.S., your home country may give you a credit for the U.S. tax paid. But there is a catch. You ultimately end up paying the higher of the two countries' tax rates. To even claim this, Spanish athletes must navigate a labyrinth of paperwork, formally claiming treaty benefits using IRS Form 8233 or W-8BEN, and securing a U.S. taxpayer ID. Spain conquered the football world. They played beautifully, survived the grueling knockout stages, and brought joy to millions of fans. But in the ruthless world of macroeconomics, passion doesn't pay the bills. Jurisdiction does. Spain may have taken the gold trophy back to Madrid, but the United States took the cash. Thank you for watching InEssence. If you want to understand the hidden forces shaping our world, hit the subscribe button, and I'll see you in the next essay.